This team is very impressive to watch on film. NC State, they've had some really tough games. They've had some games where they're really gelling. They've had some games they had to find a way to win. They're extremely explosive. They look pretty deep to me, and they're just, with the fact that C.J. Leslie was out for some time and that Scott Wood was out a little bit with an ankle injury, they really look like they're hitting their stride right now. And as far as for November, I think they're going to get a lot better, just like I think we're going to get a lot better. But their explosiveness, they're a very diverse team. They can play a lot of different ways. They're extremely good inside. They have a tremendous point guard that can get into the lane and create havoc and score baskets. They have Scott Wood, who's shooting as well, maybe as anybody in the country right now at 58% from range. He's certainly one of the absolute best shooters, if not the best shooter that we will have maybe see all year. So they cause a lot of problems for us. There's no question about it. Plus, it's a road game, and what we've been focused on is not only getting ready for them, but in a short period of time, continue to try to improve, knowing that when you go on the road, your margin for error is slim to begin with, but when you're playing against athletes and very talented individuals like this from top to bottom, with a lot of length, they can really, really cause problems. So we've got a lot of things to do. Number one's got to start with taking care of the ball on the road, and make sure that we're moving the ball offensively and defensively. We've got to get back in transition, and it all starts with that. So it'll be a major challenge for us tomorrow night, no doubt about it. Go ahead.
This is obviously a significant style change for them from Sidney Lowe to Coach Godfrey. How impressive is it, just the transition they've been able to make?
Well, I just watched them on this year. I watched the little film from last year in the summer, but they have very talented players and extremely talented players, and they have a very, very good coaching staff. Obviously now, but that team was in place and just about there. I thought a year ago when I'd watch games on television, but I think even losing the point guard, they haven't missed a beat. I thought maybe they'd be a little different without Ryan Harrow. I think they're really good. Lorenzo Brown is outstanding. And they can beat you a lot of different ways. So they're scoring 79 points a game. And I've never really gone back and looked at how they played as much, statistically last year. But this team can play a lot of different ways. They can play very fast, but they can also pound it in, and they can beat you in a possession game as well.
How big of a challenge is this level of athleticism in a road game?
Oh, extremely. I mean, every year we're picked a certain place in the Big Ten, and all of a sudden we're playing a team that's not picked anywhere near us. I mean, it's been that way since we got here. It was that way when we played Wake Forest when these guys were freshmen. So it's been that way. We've just come to expect it. I mean, Indiana is a draw when it comes to television. I get that. So, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, they're right there. I mean, they were right there a year ago to be in the kind of team. I mean, they had some excellent wins, but it'll be a huge challenge. Their athleticism, their length. They can cover a lot of ground. They're very, very good inside, and the one thing maybe they do as well as anything is offensive rebound. So that's a big challenge.
You mentioned the other night that Verdell was a little bit under the weather.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody?
He was very good today.
Season?
I think everybody goes through it a little bit, but he was very good today, and he was very efficient, back to his old self. So hopefully that'll carry over.
Go ahead.
Can you just expand on Leslie a little bit? What
Sure.
kind of challenges he presents, and how do you go about addressing a guy?
Sure. Well, it's very hard to prepare for that. It's like preparing for a 6'8" Victor. His second and third effort is tremendous. And his first effort is very good. His first step is very good, but it's the second and third effort of him that I think separates him. And he is he's tremendous around the basket and can drive the ball. The first step gets him fouled, and you constantly got to be aware of him. The one guy that's maybe the guy that causes the most matchup problems for us, though, might be Richard Howell. I mean, he's really, really good. And fierce around the bucket, can step out and shoot, rebounding at a high level. So this is not a game where you can look at it and feel like, oh, we can put a man and a half here, and we can cheat there a little bit, and we can step off there. You can't do that. Because the moment you do that, they're going to be by you and be at the offensive glass. And we've got to rebound the ball better. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We've got to block out better. We got tougher and we blocked out better in the second half, but it wasn't nearly good enough in the first half the other night against Butler. And we knew that. We knew what kind of offensive rebounding team they were. We knew how aggressive they were. And if you don't make first contact, that's a problem. Well, in this game, they not only make first contact, but they'll just jump over you. And that's something that this team hasn't seen yet. You know, this guys in this program have seen it, but this team hasn't seen that. They haven't gone up against that. So that'll be that's huge right there in itself.
Speaking of how does that change kind of your dynamic? Is this the sort of game you're going to need to look at somebody like Pritchard more, I guess, when you're dealing with that much of a wide body, and how?
Well, I think the other night that we were able to play Tom and Cody together was good. I don't think there's any question that that's something that could happen more down the road. I think it's more of see how the game is going, feel it out. But it's not going to be a game for the faint-hearted underneath the basket, and you're going to have to make contact. And Tommy is a fierce competitor, and he's aggressive. He'll rebound. He's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to hit first. So those things are really important. So I would expect that, you know, his personality and his senior experience would definitely help us in this game. But Christian, Derek, Cody, they've all got to rebound at a high level in this game. Will and Victor, much like the other night, you've got to get guard rebounds. That's one thing that Butler puts a lot of pressure on you with, is they really rebound with their guards. And we've got to do a better job of that.
This is a little bit off topic, but Kentucky floated out the idea of possibly ending the Indiana-Kentucky series the other day. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really, other than I'm aware of that, and I would look at it in the sense that whatever happens moving forward, that we're always going to do what's best for Indiana. You know, every school is going to do what's best for them, and we're no different. We're going to do what's best for us, and I know we have a contract now, so we'll just leave it as it is and see what happens.
Also a little bit out of left field, but I know Trevor Mbakwe is a player you've had a lot of respect for. Just hearing about the news, what?
Well, he's like, you know, this is not a cliche. He's like family to the Crean family, and I think you could say the same thing with the Seltzer and the Buckley family, and probably even the Grossman family. You know, we spent a lot of time recruiting him, and saw him play his second game his sophomore year. Offered him a scholarship to his coach right after that. And he was going to be a huge part of what we were doing at Marquette. And we've been through that injury with him, which is not easy. And he had a tough year that first year. He came back from it and played the end of the year. I think he is such a good player that he'll rebound from that. And he's such an athlete. I mean, he was averaging a double-double. He's got 3 pro skills to me. He can score at the basket. He's got a high level of toughness. And he's no question a pro rebounder, no question. So I think when you have, if he was just a one-trick guy or there was just one skill with him, I'd be more worried about him. But I think with his ability to recover, and he's been through it once, and after what we've gone through with Maurice, you never bet against guys that go through multiple injuries because you see what kind of toughness they have. I think he'll go through the same thing, and I look forward to watching him do it. And I know he's in great hands up there.
You talked before about the way you guys have been scheduled with the ACC Big Ten Challenge. I guess obviously you're still getting a really, really good opponent here, but do you feel like just with the team you have the most of a puncher's chance, I guess, that you've had since you've been involved in this event?
Maybe. This was a game, you know, this would have been the year that we would have been home. But the way it worked out, we were willing to go on the road, and because we wanted to get some balance in the schedule with Kentucky, and because the way this, as you guys know, the way this had been is we were playing the ACC game and the Kentucky game on the road at the same time, and then at home at the same time, and that just wasn't as good for us. So that played into it a little bit, but you know, it doesn't faze me anymore. I mean, we're going to get a really good game. We're going to be a draw. Indiana always is, and I like the opportunity to go see where we're at. It's a November game, and I think it's important that we as coaches remember that, first and foremost. We have not been in this type of environment yet, and hopefully getting that win at Evansville helps these guys understand they can go on the road and compete and play, but it's a different team. I mean, we're going to, this is as challenged as we will have been, athletically and depth and talent and the whole thing. So we'll just have to see where it goes, but I know these guys are excited. We're all excited to play.
Is it a different kind of road challenge, considering that Evansville, there was a lot of IU fans there?
Oh, sure.
There will be less at this game?
Absolutely. Yeah, this will be, I don't think we're going to have 2,000 people from Washington, Indiana at this, so it will be different. But it's good. The Big Ten is like that. So this gives us, this is a big test for us, knowing that we've got another one in Conseco where we'll definitely be in a different area, but we'll have Indiana fans before we go up to Michigan State and in the Big Ten schedule that we have. So we're going to have to play it. It's November. Let's go see where we stand, and let's go in there knowing that the task is high. And I hope that we've got to have great concentration and focus. I mean, we want to go play, and we want to play with confidence, but there's got to be a lot of intelligence in this game, and because they turn the turnovers into dunks, and not every team can do that. But when you're in this league, they can, and that team is certainly no different. When you just look at it, you look at who they played and how they played, and Vanderbilt's ranked as high as they are, and Texas is who they are. There's no question NC State's in those conversations with those programs.